Hey there, fans of the Survivor Super Fun Time Show. This is Kevin from the Super Fun Time Show, and today we're going to be talking about the Survivor 46 cast that just dropped about a day or two ago. It's a really exciting time. This is like, I don't know what you would describe this as, maybe when tickets go on sale for like a big tour or a big concert. For a lot of Survivor fans, a lot of people get really hyped up about this, and they're really starting to read into and infer a ton of things. And it's mainly based off of Entertainment Weekly articles that have come out. This has really been the big ritual for fans of Survivor the New Era, in particular, as opposed to kind of pre 40. I know it happened, but it's different. Now it's like it's a big deal. It's like what the next class is going to be. And I'm going to indulge in this just like the rest of some of the Survivor reality losers out there. And I'm going to talk about what I think of some of the castaways based purely off of too little information, in my opinion. But we're going to go through on screen together as we check out basically some of these cast members here. So I'm going to put it up on screen so you can see exactly what exactly we have to look forward to on the Survivor 46 cast, which looks very diverse and very, very different. Actually, I think it's like one of the least white casts that they've ever had, which is pretty fascinating. But that's no surprise. I mean, it's Survivor the New Era. They've talked very vocally about racial diversity, and that's something that it looks like we're definitely getting. So we're going to start off pretty quickly and talk about some of these different folks here. We got the Entertainment Weekly pulled up, and of course we got little Brando over there, well, pointed over there. But we're not here to talk about him. Instead, we're going to scroll down and we're going to look at the beautiful, fine cast of Survivor 46. Look at all those faces. One of them has already won the $1 million, and we don't even know it yet. First victim, Jem Hussein Adams. She's wonderful. First of all, she's very beautiful. Very beautiful. Get off the bat right there. 32 years old, from Burbis, Guyana. Currently living in Chicago, Illinois. International brand mentor. 3 of her favorite hobbies: binge TV, working out, and driving. I like all those things. Those are all good things, although I'm not a good binger personally. 3 adjectives to describe herself: motivated, resilient, and hilarious. Not so bad. How would you describe outgoing, direct, and fun time? What risks you've taken in your life? Let's just say I'm a risk taker. I'm not interested if it's not being risky. Very interesting. Bungee jumping is for psychopaths, so I already would not get a vibe with her in that regard. That's for sure. Most proud accomplishment: surviving the U.S. is probably the biggest one. Had no one to lean on and go back to home to Guyana. Biggest thing: South America. South America and Guyana has been mentioned a lot so far in her preview. So there's that. But instead of recapping, by the way, as a heads up, just because that was the first one, I kind of went through most of the questions. For each of these people, I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to hit a couple core questions that's really fun to talk about. Which past Survivor would you play the game most like? Which is the question I'm always going to look at. Boston Rob, Tony Vlachos, and Kelly Wentworth. I would like to say, Jem, you're probably full of it. I don't know if you are realistically thinking if you could actually play like them. You're saying you can. I don't know if that's going to be the case, because you're talking about the GOAT, the guy who thinks he's the GOAT, and someone who everyone else thinks is the GOAT. So it's very fascinating, actually, to see those 3 choices you just made. So hopefully you hit on one of them, because they're all iconic in their own way. Next on to Ben Katzman. This is a guy that I've seen a lot of attention generated onto him already. I don't know what it is, but people see the overalls and the Tiger stuff and the fact that he's a musician and he decided to make a little song about all this. People really love this guy. He is completely appealing to people, no question. I don't know how I feel, but let's read on a little bit. 31 years old, Miami, Florida. He's a musician. Favorite hobbies: guitar, doodling, and chilling hard at the beach. He doesn't chill soft at the beach. He chills hard at the beach. Biggest risk: quit running independent record label at 25 as success was starting to come. Wow. He did a lot of band stuff. Okay, so he's a big record label guy back in the day, or sort of big-ish, and he decided to off out of there. What is something we would never know from looking at you? Which I think is an important question to ask looking at this guy. People assume I'm a laid-back rocker surfer dude, but I think I'm more emotionally intelligent than most would give me credit for. I think a lot of musicians think that they're more emotionally intelligent than people would give them credit for. Which past Survivor would you play the game most like? Nick Wilson, or Cody Assemacher? So I want to say this. The Nick Wilson thing, obviously no one likes the Nick Wilson thing at this point because Nick Wilson, if you don't know, he's a politician down in Kentucky, which is no surprise. He talked about being involved as a lawyer in Kentucky, but now he's kind of a lot of politicians come from law, basically. So now he's doing that, and he has sponsored some bills that have some pretty anti-trans language in them. So a lot of people do not like Nick Wilson, no matter if he won and he was kind of a nice guy back in the day. That's not the case now. Now with Cody, I fully believe the Cody thing. When I see this guy, the vibes, all I can think of is Livin, livin, and that makes sense. Cody was a fine player. Cody was a good player. I loved Cody. Actually, if it wasn't Gabler, if it wasn't Owen, I was really supporting Cody during Survivor 43. So I'm a huge fan of that. My thing is, I'll tell you all right now, and I know this is going against some people I really love and respect in the Survivor community's opinions. Maybe he'll be a fun guy. I think he has first boo written all over him. From the little bit I watched in the videos, and obviously you can go watch and we'll do some videos about this later. I think he's the first one out. So I wouldn't get too excited about him. I wouldn't get like the fact that he called himself emotionally intelligent and he's a musician. I think he's falling into a stereotype personally, and I just see it going very poorly. Next, this icon here, Jess Chong, with the blue pattern tiger stripes going on. Love that. 37 years old, Hong Kong / Toronto. I've never heard of that place. Kidding. Current residence, San Francisco, California. Software engineer. 3 favorite hobbies. This is a very long list. Sewing my own clothes, biking around San Fran with my husband, and binge watching 80% of a TV show, panicking about where the time has gone, and then reading recaps of the remaining 20%. Man, that's your favorite hobby, is 4/5 of the way actually completing a TV show. What a time. 3 adjectives that best describe: silly / animated, which by the way, that's 2, compassionate and persistent. So her 4 adjectives that describe her are good. And I think that really lists what I would look forward to in a good castaway. So that's a good start. And how would your friends describe you? Empathetic, tenacious, smart, social butterfly. And which I think is also kind of funny is you see the difference between how she described herself versus how her friends would. So I think that's a little bit interesting there. Looks like she was the design person. She quit that at some point. Accomplishment she's most proud of: that after she transitioned into software engineering, she helps to help make other people make the transition. All right, well, that's cool, I guess. I don't know. Actually, that's pretty boring. I was gonna lie, Jess. That sounds pretty boring. I'm sure you've done a lot of cool stuff. You just don't know how to sell yourself on the forum. You need to do better. What's something you wouldn't know from looking at you? An identical twin, and I played rugby in college. That I gotta give you that. I would not think that you played rugby in college. I had a best friend in college. Well, she's got guns. She's got like a little bit of guns going on. Okay, all right. It's not just Tybo. It's rugby. Yeah, I could see it a little bit. The typing 140 words per minute, I could see that though. I type like 140 a minute. I could see that. Next one, Bhanu Gopal. I love the look of Bhanu. Now, mind you, I don't have the videos with all these, but when I watch the videos, I like Banu's vibe. He seems like he's gonna be really active and out there. I love that. Really talkative, which is good. He just needs to have the right emotional intelligence to be able to read the room. And I feel like every year there's a guy that I peg for this kind of thing each year. Also, I could have phrased that definitely differently, but there's a guy that I mark down as someone that I think is going to be really good and be able to really relate to people. Last year, it was Sean from the Lulu tribe. This year, it's going to be Bhanu for me. I think he may be the guy. He's from, I'm going to try to say it. He's 41, from Visakhapatnam, India. Currently living in Acton, Massachusetts. IT quality analyst. 3 favorite hobbies: dancing, swimming, yoga. Energetic, disciplined, passionate is how he would describe himself. I fully believe that. That's what all I got from his videos. He seems to be full of personality, full of color, and I love that. Kind of like Jam Jam, but not the same as Jam Jam. Jam Jam Aracho is a whole different animal himself. How would your friends describe you? Adaptable, because he's lived alone. Emotional, and a great ability to listen and support. I believe that. That sounds great. He's like checkbox wise, Bhanu is my favorite so far of all those people that we have gone through. Biggest accomplishment becoming a citizen of the United States because God bless America, you son of a gun. That's what I say to everyone as my standard greeting. What's something we would never know from looking at you? Very good at making first impressions combined with my expressive social media presence. People often mistake me for an extrovert. He believes he's an introvert at heart. I'm one of these people, but these people that say, "Oh, I'm like a really extroverted introvert," man, we all need to be rounded up and just put on an island together. Kidding. Banu seems really awesome. Love Banu. Kenzie Petty. The internet will love her for many reasons. One of them, she's hot, clearly. Two, she's got tattoos. Three, she's half laughing in her photo, which means obviously she's fun and a good time. And then number four, her last name is Petty because Survivor Twitter is very petty. Next, 29 years old, Gibraltar, Michigan, currently living in Charlotte, North Carolina. Good spot. Salon owner. Jam Jam's a salon owner. You never know. Favorite hobbies: jigsaw puzzles, fantasy romance novels, and playing cards. Good hobbies. Good hobbies. 3 adjectives that describe you the best: positive, creative, and perseverant. I would believe that. She seems to have that vibe. She seems to be really fun. I like that a lot. How would you friends describe you? Resilient, resourceful, driven, self-sufficient, adventurous. And there's a million other things, but you get the gist. Yeah, she seems like she is all those things. She seems like she's down for a good time. If she hasn't been to Burning Man, she probably has been in the past, or maybe she's too cool for Burning Man. She seems like a girl that definitely, if she wanted to just like get on like a boat in Miami this weekend, like she could. She would just go down there, find some dolt with a boat, and go, "Hey, can I get on your boat?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, you can get on my boat." And she'd be like, "Great." And then she just has a boat weekend. I could see that. Um, Next, though, what risks have you taken for life? I see COVID listed here, so I'm gonna look. Opening the salon was a giant risk. She has no business degree. She just opened it up 2 months after the first anniversary being open. COVID shut them down for the quarantine. That is some bad luck, girl. Bad luck. But it looks like she's doing okay. Um, Biggest something you would never know from looking at you. I'm a savage in Catan. Catan, Settlers of Catan. Hey, I believe that, but listen, it doesn't take skill to be a savage at Catan, all right? I'm a savage at Catan, but I never beat my friends. However, I am very much one of the greatest architects of Spite Road that has ever happened in the history of Settlers of Catan. So it's not that impressive. We'll see. And it says, what past player would you like to play the game most like? And she says, Marianne. Marianne from Survivor 42, the eventual winner. She's an interesting pick. I actually think I remember watching Kenzie's video, and I think she said she thinks she'll play like some kind of baby version. Like, she'll play like if Marianne and Parvati had a baby, that would be Kenzie. And I could see that because I think Kenzie probably is a flirter. She's probably good at getting people to do what she wants, man or woman, but particularly man. And I could see this working out. I could see her doing really well, but I could also see her easily being sussed out as a threat. Whereas like last year, Kendra, the kind of the same archetype, I didn't see that with Kendra or Carolyn. I didn't see that with Carolyn in 44. Whereas in 46, I could see Kenzie being sussed out as a threat pretty quickly. So best of luck to her, but I just don't know. Chucky Davis, Chucky Charles Davis. All right, so I'll tell you right off the rip, I have my own vendetta against Charlie Davis. I don't know him. However, in his preview video, 26 years old, Manchester by the Sea, Massachusetts. Is that a real place? Boston, Massachusetts, law student from Boston, Massachusetts. Why we never get enough of those. Name 3 of your favorite hobbies: running, debating, and board games. I respect all of those. 3 adjectives that best describes you: loyal, funny, and fun-loving, competitive. Fun-loving and competitive. Okay, so that's 4, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. How would your friends describe you? Funny. Hey, I mean, you described it earlier. Charismatic, charming, strategic, competitive, weird, nerds. I added weird. Well, you did say weird. Uh, Proudest accomplishment. He did some more running. What is something we would never know from looking at you? You would never be able to tell how hard I fight for the people I love. Sure. Yeah, I think that's, I guess. What past survivor would you most play the game like? Spencer Bledsoe, Christian Hubicki. Um, those are good choices. Spencer's obviously he's a big game bot, and Christian Hubicki is kind of a big game bot. I don't know if I would aim for those two, but I guess part of Survivor is knowing what you are and who you are. And I'm glad he said that. Now, I'll tell you to bring it back. The reason why I am not a fan of old Chucky Boy is in his casting video, like the preview that, like, where they probably took this photo of him. He said basically my strategy during different phases of the game are going to mirror different Taylor Swift album eras. Once you say that, you lose me immediately. Like, so you want your strategy to be mediocre? Is that what you're looking forward to? Well, you're going to get it if you are trying to play the game most like Spencer and Christian. You're not going to win. So, whatever. He's a guy that, based off of that, I hope he goes early, but he seems like a nice enough guy. If he does make it far and he does some really awesome stuff, hats off to you. I liked Spencer when he played. I loved Christian Hubicki. I love Christian. But they never mentioned or cited Taylor Swift. So that's a big difference for me. Now moving on to Liz Wilcox. Liz Wilcox. I've had the privilege of saying a few words to Liz randomly before I knew she was a castaway. And it's pretty fun. Glad to see her here. I have a big forehead, and I noticed in a lot of her photos she wears a headband, and I think they're cool as hell, whether it's a fashion statement or not. I'm always a headband guy, so I love that. 35 years old, Luther, Michigan, currently living in Orlando, Florida. Marketing strategist, which is very true. She sends a lot of email stuff out. 3 favorite hobbies: running, telling jokes, and making money. All good things. Definitely good for winning Survivor, that's for sure. 3 adjectives best describe you: fun seeking, is that a word? I don't know. Growth minded, and effing capable of anything. Liz Wilcox Island. F yeah. That's what I'm calling Survivor 46 because they won't do themes anymore. How would your friends describe you? Relentless as all get out. That's personality. People are always telling me that my drive is so inspiring. What was the moment you've made a change for the better? There was a moment in my marriage when I knew it wouldn't work. I decided to leave, no plan, no cash, but it was scary. I knew I had to go out on my own. Love that. That's a big thing, and especially if you followed some of the social media stuff with Carolyn from Survivor 44, that's definitely a very positive message to see happening for more than just one castaway right now. Thing you're most proud of: making my own money, lots of basically being proud of herself, which is nice. What is something you would never know from looking at you? I was a mute until the age of 7, so I had a crazy nervous tick and would hyperventilate from nerves. Now I'm a public speaker in the face of my company. Yeah, what a badass, huh? Didn't even talk until you were 7. That's huge. I love that. What past survivor would you play the game most like? Russell and Sandra, which is really funny because Russell and Sandra play completely opposite games. So, Liz, I have to admit, I don't know what you're going for with the Russell and Sandra comparison, because Russell quite literally plays a 180 type game to Sandra. Other than they don't mind talking crap to people. That's about it. But Sandra doesn't do it unless it behooves her in some way. You know, like if she's the majority and she knows someone isn't, she's going to say, if you don't have the idol, you best go look for it. You know, she'll do that if she thinks she's the majority. And Russell, you're either with me or against me. Otherwise, Sandra is the anyone but me, and Russell is all about I'm deciding who's going, and it's you. So it's actually diametrically opposed to one another, in my opinion. But I appreciate you doing. I appreciate you mentioning Russell Hantz because I assume you mean Russell Hantz, because fans don't, and fans refuse to acknowledge that Russell Hantz is good at Survivor. He can't win Survivor because that part he doesn't understand, but the actual navigation throughout the game, he's good at it. So anyway, moving on. David Jelinsky. This, I think they're calling him David Jelinsky because he wants to be like Colby Donaldson. I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't think he'll ever be Colby Donaldson or Cochran or anything like that. He's 22 years old, from Vegas, Nevada, slot machine salesman. 3 favorite hobbies: sports, trivia, puzzles, card games, Organization. His favorite hobby is organization. Loser. List 3 adjectives that best describe yourself: passionate, confident, intelligent. Um, I can actually see that. I know I just called him a loser, but that's because his favorite thing is organization. It's like, yeah, I mean, also nail clippings. Is that cool too? No. Um, 3 adjectives that best describe yourself: passionate, confident, intelligent. How would your friends describe you? My closest friends would say that David Jelinsky thinks he knows everything. That's not a good start. He's too smart for his own good. Growing up, he was a hothead and would argue with you until you gave him and told him it's right. But he has matured over the years and understands when he should concede in an argument. I have a feeling, no, I have a feeling you're lying, David. Your pants, they should be on fire right now. The fact that you are apparently insisting that you be called Jelinsky, last name, means you believe a lot in yourself and you're not going to concede in these moments. Jelinsky, you ain't winning. No question. I don't see it. What risks you have taken? And dropping out after 1 year in high school was a risk that has paid off so far. What's the accomplishment you're most proud of? My literature academic achievements are my proudest achievements. Well, I'm kind of curious what the literature academic achievements are, um, if you weren't in school, or maybe you went back to school. I don't know. What is something you would never know from looking at you? There are many things that I would never know from at first glance. Growing up, I was a theater kid. Danced professional ballroom for 2 years when I was 8 to 10, and then I was offered a ballet scholarship. I'm also a huge Swiftie. But like, to be fair, a lot of people are Swifties. Like, also, like, if you're white, your chance of being a Swiftie in America, it's like here, you know? It'd be a different story if you weren't. What past survivors would you play the game most like? Now, this is crazy. This list right here, honestly, this is a crazy list. So the first one is Fabio, which I respect. Judge from Survivor Nicaragua is an awesome person to play the game like. He won the game, obviously, so he played pretty well. Although he did kind of immunity himself to the end, but he's great. He was good vibes, and nobody really wanted to get him out. Even Nayanka ended up voting for him in the end to win when they weren't getting along totally. Sammy, which I think is Sammy from Survivor 43. I love Sammy. I think Sammy played a great game. He was like 19 years old and he killed it. He absolutely killed it. Russell, which I believe is Russell Hantz, because they're not listing what the last name is of Russell, but I assume they mean Russell Hantz and not Russell Swan. Russell, as I talked about with Liz, he's a great pick. I love that. Tyson. I think he wants to play like Tyson because he looks like a big whooping crane, just like Tyson does. You know, with those big, long, lanky limbs. It's pretty wild. But I get it. Tyson's a great player. Obviously, he won the game. And Rick Devens. Devens is another fun, lighthearted guy. Every person on this list is a fun, lighthearted guy, except for Russell. He's kind of a bastard. But everyone else is a fun, lighthearted guy for the most part in how they played the game. And I love that. Rick Devens is one of my favorites. I hope he comes back and plays again one day. Same with Sammy and Fabio. But Fabio's not going to ever come back. He got arrested for like smoking weed while riding a skateboard. It's like the most Fabio offense possible. Next one up, Maria Shrime Gonzalez. She's wonderful. 48 years old from Dallas, Texas. Boo Cowboys. Occupation, parent coach. What does that mean? So does she coach parents on how to parent? Or is it like player coach, like in sports where you're like, oh yeah, I'm a player and I'm a coach? Is it like, yeah, I'm a parent and I'm also their coach at the same time? If so, that's wild. I never heard of that job. 3 favorite hobbies: travel, running, and spending time with friends. Pretty docile. Adjectives that describe yourself: determined, loyal, and resilient. I like it. Seems pretty cash so far. What risks have you taken in your life to make a change for the better, and if the outcome wasn't planned? After college and before grad school, I moved to Costa Rica to volunteer with World Teach. Uh, yeah, so study abroad kind of and teaching was pretty good. Um, most are proud of 3 children at home on my terms, without medication, without interruptions, with the most empowering moments. I'm very intrigued because I remember in her little video before the season started, she mentioned that she gave birth to her kids at home without medicine, and she wrote it again here. And I that means she believes it, or at least that's a talking point that she put down that she thinks makes herself stand out. But I don't know. I think it's weird when you have to say like without medication. I'm a man who cannot give birth to children, so I have no dog in the fight personally. But I definitely feel like that's a point of pride that I will never understand. It's like, well, I gave birth to kids without medication. Yo, if I could give birth to kids, I would take anything I could to get the fact that a grapefruit was coming out of something the size of like an apple. Okay, forget that. I'm not doing that. Was something we would never know from looking at you. I ate a sheep's head in Morocco. All of it? Like the whole thing? You like unlock your jaw and suck that thing down? Was Miss February in a salsa vixen swimsuit calendar. I like that. Okay. Impressive. Impressive. Got lost on the Champs-Élysées. I think that's how you say it. Champs-Élysées. I've never actually been able to say that in Paris when I was a little girl. Because I always think it was Champs-Élysées. Champs-Élysées. Maybe. I don't know. When I was a little girl, never learned how to whistle growing up, and I have an obsession with untying knots. Well, that's gonna be huge because Survivor, there's lots of knots to untie in personalities, emotionalities, and also in actual knots. What past Survivor would you play the game most like? Drea Wheeler, Natalie Anderson. Really awesome choices. Honestly, they may be my two favorite choices anyone's put together so far. Drea is someone who was kicking ass in Survivor 42, quite frankly. But it didn't work out in the end. Natalie Anderson, she did kick ass in Survivor San Juan del Sur, and Winners at War, she was a badass. But that was like at that point, it was like a physical competition, though. I mean, she's baller, but like if she came back into the game and she had won, it would have been fraudulent. Okay, she came back from the edge, so whatever. But Natalie Anderson objectively is a badass. Awesome picks. The only thing is she try to lean more toward Natalie than Drea. Number one thing, just keep your mouth shut. Things will probably go better. Next up is Hunter Knight McKnight. Got to add in the Mick, the biggie size here. 28 years old, French Camp, Mississippi. Current residence, still in French Camp. Never got out. Occupation is a science teacher. Three favorite hobbies: building survivor challenges, playing any sport, and camping. Yeah, so okay, so this dude, I mean, does pretty much what I expect. He's an outdoors guy. He's a nerd. He loves the physical aspect of Survivor. He's definitely played a competition online at some point, probably. How would your friends describe you? Competitive, a bit odd, intelligent, quick-witted, maybe a little arrogant, fun, and hardworking. I'm glad you admit it, because I think sometimes people have a hard time admitting that about themselves. Like Jelinsky said that he used to be arrogant, but he's not anymore. He's reformed, and at least you're aware of your arrogance to some degree, which is really key in a game like Survivor. Biggest risks you've taken in your life. I left a full ride scholarship and direct admission into medical school to come back and teach in my hometown. I decided I could be more impactful teaching here. I respect that decision. That's awesome. Although I would hope that you went back not just to help others, but ultimately to make yourself feel better. So, what's the accomplishment you're most proud of? Making it through all of school without anything below an A. Flipping nerd. Just kidding. You're awesome. You're awesome, Hunter. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. What's an accomplishment you are most proud of? Making it through all school without making anything below an A. I already said that. What is something you would never know from looking at you? I graduated 4.0 in college. Why wouldn't we know that from looking at you? I mean, we wouldn't know that by looking at anybody, but you don't look like you wouldn't be valedictorian, that's for sure. You definitely look like a guy that builds survivor challenges and hangs out outside outdoors a lot. What past survivor would you like to play the game most like? Hayden Moss. I'm so stoked that you said Hayden Moss because I think Hayden Moss is an all-timer and people don't talk about Hayden Moss enough. I think he's great. All right, next up is Moriah Gaynor. Seems lovely. She got a Miss Frizzle thing going on. For all you Magic School Bus fans, maybe you'll know that. 28 years old from Boca Raton, Florida, currently living in San Diego, which is a beautiful place. Program coordinator. What kind of program? Three favorite hobbies: beer brewing, surfing, Dungeons and Dragons. I know a lot of people just like Mariah in my actual life, so this is kind of funny to see those laid out. Adjectives that best describe yourself: driven, quirky, and sentimental. And then, how would you have your friends describe you? Friends would describe me as a go-getter, even if it's not always apparent. Which I wonder what that means is like I'm a really ambitious person. I don't really do anything. You know, is that like what is that what it is? Like a go-getter, but you can't tell? Like, man, I think about stuff all the time. And that's what it sounds like it is. Um, I'm always the person to organize the trip, plan the party, or make an event happen. My catchphrase is so I went ahead and made a G sheet for this. A G sheet, man. She cut out the oogle in G sheet. How about that? All right. Um, what risks have you taken to, or changes made to, for the better of your life? Whatever. You know the question. You know what I'm asking. One of the largest risks I took was moving to California. When I moved here, I had a trunk full of clothes, a studio apartment, and a part-time job. Boy, you sound like every other person below the age of like 32. Um, what if I had no idea if my relationship would succeed? I would find a meaningful employment, if I'd make friends. Hit an end in Wisconsin. There was nothing left, so I figured, screw it, why not? Well, that's pretty adventurous. I got to give you that. Can't blame you. If you moved out there for a relationship, um, you are already better than me. I had an ex who talked about going to LA, and I was like, "Ooh, can you give me a year?" And we broke up. What is the accomplishment you're most proud of? She says, "I'm most proud of completing my marathon." That's awesome. Assuming it's not like a Simpsons marathon or something like that, that's huge. Freshman year at college, I started running to try for a half, then it grew to a full. Honestly, that's amazing. Now, I think marathons are tedious and pointless in that I think you can only work out so much. And I think working out is great. I think if you can do a marathon, you are a badass and you are a certified immortal in my mind. However, when you get to a marathon, it's like, why are you running for 26.2 miles or whatever it is? That just seems like too much running, like to the point where you're probably hurting yourself running, like long term hurting yourself. So, good for you. Hopefully, you didn't do it again. You're not going to do like the crazy Disney one that they end up doing, but 6 days running for 4 months straight in NYC is no joke. Like you said, you said I spent my salary that years in energy gels and socks. Exactly. Come on, that's too much running. It says, what is something you would you not know from looking at you? You would never know how much I second guess myself. I would guess that from looking at you, Moriah. I actually would. Yes. And what survivor would you play the game most like? Nick Wilson, a second Nick Wilson in this batch. A hell of a choice. Because I noticed that in each season of Survivor, when they do these previews, there's always like an ebb and flow of which castaways the current castaways choose from the past of who to play like. Many years you end up getting the same people. Natalie Anderson is usually a very popular one. Jeremy from Survivor Samuel Del Sur, just like Natalie Anderson, they're very popular typically to choose. Sandra's always a popular one as well. Marianne's become pretty popular. Uh, People choose Boston Rob, but I think a lot of people are like, no, I'm not choosing Boston Rob. Everyone's going to choose Boston Rob. But Nick Wilson's been chosen twice so far. So I think he's been chosen just as much as everyone else. And again, that's a choice for reasons we don't have to rehash. But yeah. Next up, Q Burdett. Q is an interesting fellow. I remember looking at the breakdown of the tribes, which I'll show you at the end of the video. The only thing I recognize right away from this fellow is he's the only one who's touching another cast member in the tribal photos. So he's got his hand on Kenzie's shoulder, which means he's bold and or probably doesn't know his limits on stuff. All right, moving on. 29 years old from Senatobia, Mississippi. Current residence in Memphis, Tennessee. Good state. Occupation, real estate agent. So he's good at BSing people. Now you always got to look out for those closing costs. Those are important, the fine print. Name 3 of your favorite hobbies: fishing, riding 4-wheelers / jet skis, and building houses. Well, I mean, all very active things, definitely outdoorsy, pretty cool. 3 adjectives that best describe you: brave, polite, and proud. Yeah, that sounds like a realtor. Definitely. How would your friends describe you? I think my friends would describe me as a crazy risk-taking friend. I feel like that's anti of everything he said before, though. They would probably add that I'm the luckiest person they know. Most importantly, they would describe me as someone they can count on. I have a friend who's the luckiest person I know and kind of a risk taker. So he actually is kind of reminding me of my friend. His name is Brian, my buddy Brian, just like Q. What risks have you taken in your life to make it for the better? I started taking risks early in life, being one of 17 kids. God damn, 17. Says you have to take a risk when you're one of 17. Do you? Is it because you can't? There weren't enough nipples on the doggy boobs, or what? There's not enough room at the bowl. Why? One of 17? God damn. It's a lot of Happy Meals. Biggest risk that changed my life for the better would it be quitting my job to start my career in real estate? I mean, I guess so. I mean, you're like, oh yeah, my biggest risk was quitting my one job so I could get another job. I don't know. That just sounds like life as an adult. What is the proudest accomplishment, or what's the accomplishment you're most proud of? Being the first person in my entire family to graduate college. That is pretty awesome. Mazel tov. I work in education, so I get it. What is something we would never know from looking at you? I can eat 2 boxes of pizza in one sitting by myself. All right, so first of all, what constitutes a box of pizza? Are we talking slices? Are we talking personal pan pizzas from Pizza Hut? Are we talking a medium Little Caesars pizza? Are we talking large stuffed crust garbage pizza from Papa John's? What are we talking about? It's important. 2, that I can swim. Wow. Number 2 saying that I can swim. He's throwing out some low key. Don't you dare say I'm black and I can't swim. Don't you dare. Because I mean, that's clearly what it means. Because there's a long period of time for, if you watch Survivor, if you saw like a black guy on the show, which is usually one, you're like right away, if there's a swim challenge, like, don't put him in. Don't do it. Don't do it. And the women didn't fare any better either. It's like, oh, black woman, don't put her in. Which all this was baseless, but basically you saw that Jervis said he couldn't swim in season 1, and then that kind of landed the stereotype ever since then. And Austin almost drowned in season 7. So like, it's a bad thing. But number 2, he's saying I can swim. Number 3, I am a joy to be around, what people tell me. Interesting that he would say we wouldn't guess that he's a joy to be around. I wonder why he thinks that. Because like I would think that he seems like a joy to be around. I mean, does he not seem fun and cool? Like he's got some tattoos around here. He seems interesting. I don't know. So anyway, he seems okay. I don't like his non-committal answer of, what Survivor would you play the game most like? And he said bits and pieces from lots of players. Now, I think that is the correct answer for anyone who's trying to play the game. You should play with bits and pieces of every player that's ever played, or a lot of players. But the problem is, we're asking you which players, okay? We want some specific answers around here. I want to be able to judge. I want to hear a third Nick Wilson. Third. All right, next up. Who loves orange soda? Kevin loves orange soda. Is it true? Oh, I do. Oh, I've been waiting to see that one ever since I saw there's some named Soda, and she's on the Orange Tribe. She's 27 years old from Long Island, New York, currently living in Lake Hopatcong, I think, New Jersey. Occupation, special ed teacher. Name 3 favorite hobbies: singing with an exclamation point, taking walks, and doing random crafts with an exclamation point. So she loves singing, is lukewarm about taking walks, but loves doing random crafts, as you can tell from the exclamation points. List 3 adjectives to describe yourself: intentional, determined, empathetic. I could see it. How would your friends describe you? If I'm honest, my friends say I'm silly, extra, and anxious at times, but they bear with me. What risks have you taken in your life to make a change for the better if the outcome wasn't planned? I got married super young to a man from Brazil I had only known 6 months. He's amazing. It really worked out. Wow. Okay. So she got married and she's still married to the guy from Brazil. Wow. Awesome. What is the proudest accomplishment, or what is the accomplishment you're most proud of? I'm proud of the life that I've built. I have a great job. I work to have honest relationships. I'm extremely proud of the statistics and odds I've overcome. I think she's really relatable and really likable so far, which I enjoy. What is something we would never know from looking at you? I'm deathly afraid of butterflies. What? I cannot be in the same field as one, and I can sense anything small, soft, and winged is nearby. Well, girl, I think you're going to have some problems going to play Survivor. Fiji is full of winged things, so I mean, hopefully the season works out well for you anyway, but it's not the. Did you want to be on this adventure, Soda? Come on, that is alive. What past Survivor would you play the game most like? Survivor 42. She chose all of Survivor 42, and I don't know what that means. Um, Less messier version of Survivor 41. Is that the implication? Like, do you mean like, oh, I'm gonna play like Mike Turner, where like he was honest, but he also backstabbed. Where Marianne, you're really personable and you're pulling moves behind the scenes. Drea accumulating idols all over the place. Romeo kind of getting low key dragged to the end. Jonathan lifting up the entire world on his shoulder and dragging it. Like, I don't know what you mean by that, but I have to admit, it's probably my favorite answer. Because it wasn't like pieces from different players all over the place. No, you said, I'm playing like Survivor 42. Take from that what you will. And in a way, I kind of respect that. That was kind of a boss move. Next up is Randen Montalvo. Okay, so at least I think it's how we say it. Randen, it could even just be Randen. 41 years old, from Brooklyn, New York, originally or living in Orlando, Florida currently. Makes sense. Cape Canaveral probably. He's an occupation. He's an aerospace tech. Name 3 of your favorite hobbies: running endurance marathons, another marathonist with Moriah; sports cars; extreme rides / sports. 3 adjectives that best describe yourself: analytical, persistent, passion. How would your friends describe you? Relentless. I love that. I love that. What risks have you taken in your life to make a change? Move to another state, decide to start a family, join the military. Um, Something you would never know from looking at you. My favorite people I would like to meet, other than Jeff Probst, would be Neil deGrasse Tyson and Michio Kaku. I don't know who that is. Neil deGrasse Tyson is cool though. What past Survivor would you play the game most like? Xander. Xander Hastings from Survivor 41. That is a choice, my man. I love Xander. I think Xander's great. I think Xander could have won Survivor 41 if he pitched his case better. But Xander's also known for kind of being a know-it-all to some degree, despite being really nice. So hopefully, someone who's clearly as bright and disciplined as this guy, he will not fall into that trap. Kind of like Chucky Boy, when he talks about playing like Spencer and Christian Hibiki. It seems like he's a bit of a game bot, and the guys he named are game bots. The problem is, those guys, their biggest downfalls were probably being game bots. Although Christian was legitimately the threat to win the game by the time he was voted out. Just, I'm just saying, look out, buddy. Look out. Next up is Tiffany Nicole Irvin. I love Tiffany Nicole Irvin. I want to say that right off the drop. I listened to one of her mini videos before the game started. She did great. I think she's got a great personality, great attitude. No wonder. She's from Jersey. She's an East Coast girl. Age 33, hometown Franklin Township, New Jersey. Currently living in Elizabeth, New Jersey. She's an artist. 3 favorite hobbies are painting, photography. And she skipped one entirely and said, does eating out count as a hobby? If it does, that's one of my favorite hobbies in the world. I just ate a chicken parm sandwich before recording this. It's great. List 3 adjectives that best describe you: curious, passionate, artistic. How would your friends describe you? My friends always tell me that I live in a land of rainbows and unicorns. I have someone named Moriah who lives in Philadelphia and has very colorful hair that you will like then. I'm a habitual procrastinator. My friends know that I'm deeply dedicated and passionate about things and people I love and have absolutely no filter, which I don't think is very good for Survivor. It's going to be good to watch on Survivor, but I don't think it's good for Survivor. So she's got to watch that. What is the accomplishment you're most proud of? I was laid off from my job of 6 years at the top of 2020 and instead scrambled to find another job. And I had the courage to follow my gut and become a full-time artist. That's awesome. What's something you would never know from looking at you? I love playing the lottery. I'm actually afraid there's an opportunity to gamble or take a big chance on Survivor. I'm the player that won't be able to resist. I mean, I'll say this. If you are, a lot of people don't resist when that chance comes up. Like almost everybody takes the gamble. The beware advantage, the different journeys. You're in good company if you do. But gambling, you got to be calculated with your gambles. So hopefully it works out. What past survivor would you play the most like, Jeremy or Shan? Really awesome choices. Not enough people reference Shan, in my opinion, to what players they should play like. Shan's always been really good at the game. She was the stud of 41 alongside Ricard, in my opinion. And, ultimately Ricard got her before she could get him. But overall, she was a beast. She was a Titan. So I love that you chose her. And also Jeremy. Jeremy's a smooth operator. He's one of the best to ever play. What can you say about Jeremy that hasn't already been said? It wasn't overly reliant on physical stuff, but he was strong enough to be a presence. But he also wasn't always known as the Godfather, and that's a really big sweet spot. Not everyone is able to get to, so I love that. Hopefully, you do. I have a lot of really good feelings about her, although her gambling comment makes me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie about that. Makes me a little nervous. Next up, this bowl of sunshine, Tevin Davis. Tevin is the guy from the previews that stood out to me right away, kind of like a couple years ago. It was Jam Jam. I was like, oh, well, when he's like, oh, I can't wait to poop in the ocean. Tevin, they showed the video where he says, like, he was on a podcast and he's like, all right. They're like, all right, goodbye, everybody. He's like, remember, test negative, stay positive. And that's a hell of a statement to live by. 24 years old from Goochland, Virginia. Goochland. Current residence, Richmond, Virginia. Occupation, actor. Name 3 of your favorite hobbies. Going to the beach, listening to music, and fashion shopping. Okay, all right. I like those things. They are the same exact hobbies of Cher from the movie Clueless. Fun fact. The list 3 adjectives that best describe yourself. Kind, charismatic, and optimistic. Awesome adjectives. I believe that he seems like a real ball of laughs, really fun. How would your friends describe you? I asked all my friends in Capel to run on sentence of the things. Tevin is an incandescent, beautiful sparks of energy and joy. Walking definition of super multifaceted talent, radiance embodied, independent yet such a valuable and free-spirited person that this world needs. Energetic, hardworking, adaptable, sunshine hitting your face on a perfect day. Genuine, talented, unique, passionate, one of a kind, true to yourself, charismatic, old soul, vibrant, determined, effervescent, smart, captivating, great to watch, dynamic person filled with love, confidence, and a presence that is filled with joy. I did it. All right. What risks have you taken in your life? One of the biggest risks I've taken is say yes to being the theater director when asked to be when saying yes to the theater director when asked to be in Beauty and the Beast when he was in 8th grade. He had always wanted to be it and wanted to take that step. I've always wanted to take many risks to being an advocate for Black bodies, minorities, and the oppressed. I love it. What's the accomplishment you're most proud of? I not only finished college as a first generational college student, but I utilized the scholarships I earned, which made for my parents not spend a single dime on tuition and housing. Awesome job. It's not easy to do that all the time. What is something we would never know from looking at you? I'm a country boy at heart, and don't ever think I'm too good to get a little messy. He's talking about getting some fights. Let's go, Tevin. Let's go. What past survivor did you play the game most like? Marianne, another Marianne. Not a surprise. People love Marianne. And Cochran. Somebody actually stepped up and said Cochran. I love Cochran. Not enough people give credit to Cochran anymore. But his first season, he was objectively annoying and awful in my opinion. But boy, is he funny. I don't see Tevin playing like Cochran at all, but I can understand why he would aspire to play like Cochran. Venus Vaffa. Venus Vaffa. First of all, obviously, I'm always going to say it. Swing, swing. Kind of like old Wayne's World days. 24 years old, Richmond Hill, Ontario. Currently living in Toronto, Ontario. Data analyst is your occupation. Favorite hobbies. Boy, this is a long list already. Playing poker, creative writing, and making short films. This is going to sound weird, but cleaning is one of my favorite hobbies. It brings her peace. I get it. Like getting things in order, and the more that your surrounding area is in order and not in chaos, that feels like your life isn't in chaos. So I get that. What would we say here? My mouse. There you go. 3 adjectives that best describe you. Passionate, persistent, and sassy. Little J Maya is what it's sounding like right now. How would your friends describe you? They would describe me as someone who's really mean, tough exterior, like Regina George from Mean Girls, but a secret softy. I'm actually a crybaby under my tough girl facade, and I'm very emotional. I feel a little J Maya there. What risks have you taken in your life to make change for the better? I come from a conservative household. When it came to time to choose universities, I was faced with two options. Easy option, school 30 minutes away, and live with parents and not have to worry about money. Or two, go to school 8 hours away, fund myself, and be on your own for the first time. She chose the second one, which I admit is a pretty standard experience for a lot of students that go to college. But regardless, that is a tough thing, especially if she had to get a job. It's difficult to make that happen. What's accomplishment you're most proud of is my biggest accomplishment is also my biggest lesson in never giving up, graduating from university. I wonder if she had a hard time through university or it was just kind of like more of a standard. She's 24 years old and doesn't have the life experience to talk about many other things. I don't know. What is something we would never know from looking at you? I'm very observant and can see right through people's facades. The threshold to earn my trust is quite high, but I become fast friends with people who I meet or meet it. I can tell who's authentic and on the same wavelength as quickly and become thick as thieves. This should come handy in Survivor. What past Survivor would you play the game most like? Parvati and Suri. That's a tall order to play like Parvati and Suri, and I don't think Parvati and Suri play the same way. Although they're pretty close, though. I can't argue with that. Um, Tall bar to clear. I have a lot of love for her. I don't know how she's going to shake out. Hopefully, well. I think she's on the tribe. I think she's on the purple tribe, the tribe that I think is going to do pretty well. So she has that going for sure. And hopefully she does a little bit better than J Maya. Hopefully no one shots in the dark her out of the shot in the darks her out of the game. That's probably the best way to describe it. Next up, this guy, Tim Spicer. If I remember right, he is one of the wildest answers at the end. 31 years old, from currently from hometown is Arlington, Virginia. Currently in Atlanta, Georgia. Occupation: he's a college coach, which I don't think that's quite like as we expect. I read college coach and I thought athlete, but no, I think instead it's more like coaching high schoolers to get to college. Interesting. Name three of your favorite hobbies. Dating my wife. That's a hobby for all you romantics out there. Remember that. Watching Survivor and Peaky Blinders, and then exercising daily. Three adjectives that best describe yourself: goal-oriented, charismatic team member, strategic thinker. I love that. Definitely goal-oriented based on what I've seen. He seems like he's very, very focused. How would your friends describe you? My friends describe me as God's child. Extremely uplifting, good listener, and a great friend. Always down for a good time. And I believe that. From the videos I've seen, he seems like he's down for a good time. What risks have you taken? One of the most paramount risks in my life was applying to grad school. Having worked for a nonprofit for 3 years, I knew I needed to enhance my background, become validated in the field of education. Um, I would pass by GWU, where I mustered the courage to apply. And it ended up accepted as one of 6 African American males enrolling in the Graduate School of Education and Human Development. Nice. Um, what is the accomplishment you're most proud of? Listed several accomplishments. Um, Achieving work performance metrics. Carter, Cooper, optimistic, Morehouse. Okay, this is a bunch of garbage. Okay. When I say garbage, it's not really garbage. It's a lot of cool stuff. But like there's a gigantic list of things here. Come on, give me like one or two, man. Uh the mind you, they fill this list out after they already done the game probably. So even after it's all done, he listed all this stuff. I mean, one of them, it's Survivor called me back. I mean, come on, yeah. There's that. My wife being a parent. He lists being a parent, and then he also lists his 2 kids, which one and the same, right? At least I think, unless he's talking about like Jimmy Carter and Amari Cooper or something like that. A president and a wide receiver that he may not have any affiliation to. um, Travel to several continents. I gotta give you that. That's pretty awesome. What is something we would never know from looking at you? I've had 2 eye incidents during my lifetime. During my childhood, I got a metal hanger stuck in my eye jumping off a table. Woo. Woo. You Mick Foley? Are you secretly Mick Foley? Years later, after watching my aunt administer eye drops, I gave it a try. However, I picked up nail glue. Oh, glued his left eye shut. Doctor said it would dissolve and open eventually. Wow, so if you put glue in your eye, it'll open eventually? Oh yeah, this is the questionable answer. What survivor would you play the game most like? Shamar Thomas. I don't know if you all remember who Shamar is. He was on Survivor Fans vs. Favorites 2. He was on the Favorites tribe. Shamar was a disaster. He was a disaster. He's in the Hall of Fame of disasters in Survivor, in my opinion. And he was basically led around by his Johnson on the Favorites beach during that season by Sherry. And Shamar, as a man, as a human being, I think Tim seems awesome. I would love to hang out with Tim. I think Tim seems like one of the coolest guys on the planet. However, as a Survivor player filling out this application, this is a car crash of an application and an answer in Shamar Thomas. Shamar, are you kidding me, dude? That's insane. Insane. So I think that's it. That's the whole cast of Survivor 46. Look at the tribes real quick. Here we have what is called the Nami tribe, and it's made up of Hunter, Liz Wilcox, Randen, Soda, Tevin, and Venus. I think this is definitely the most colorful of all of the tribes. I think like Randen's going to be kind of like the straight guy, like Jerry Lewis. Hunter, nerdy guy. Tevin, out there guy. Soda's going to be kind of out there. Venus, I don't know, somewhere in the middle a little bit. I think her and him will link up somehow. Actually, I take that back. I think these three will link up, and then it'll go from there. And Liz, huge personality, as well, to go along with like Tevin and Soda. So I think this is a really interesting tribe. I don't think they lose the first challenge though, so I think they'll be okay. I think that's potential to be really good. The next one, the Siga tribe. This one is Mr. Shamar himself, Tim, Chucky Boy, Ben. Then we have Maria, and we have Moriah, and we have Jem, who we almost forgot about because she's the very first person we reviewed in this video, but she is there. This is the tribe I think is going to lose first, and I think Ben's getting booted. I could see how a game bot like Charlie, Chucky Boy, whatever, is not going to get along with him. Tim probably will, but I think Tim will go with whatever the group says. And I can see Maria not liking Ben at all. I can see Moriah not liking Ben. And I can see Jem not liking Ben. So I think Ben's done. First boot. You heard it here first. I don't know anything about spoilers, but you heard it here. And then we have the Yanu tribe. Well, who will always wear purple? We have Bhanu. Bhanu, my buddy there, my boy. I love him. And then we got Jess Chong. Then we have Jelinsky, David Jelinsky, slot machine owner. And then we have, what's his name again? Down here, we have Kenzie, Q, and Tiffany. So we have Kenzie, my sweetheart already. We got Q over here. And we got, gosh, how did I forget her name? Tiffany. I think Tiffany is wonderful. And these are kind of the rough breakdowns of the tribe. So again, we have Bhanu, Jess, Tiffany, Jelinsky, Kenzie, Q. Then we got Jem, Tim, Charlie, Moriah, Ben, Moriah, and is that Maria? Not Moriah. Okay, so there's Moriah, there's Maria. Moriah. Okay, perfect. And then up here we got Randen, we got Soda Pot, Hunter, Venus, Tevin, and Liz Wilcox. Really fascinating setup for the season. I think it's going to be super interesting. I'm curious to see how it shakes out personally. I think there's a lot of good on the table for this upcoming season of Survivor 46, but those are just my quick hit thoughts. I won't tell you who I think my winner is going to be because I plan on doing a Survivor 46 fantasy draft. So I don't want to tell you who I'm going to take in that draft for now. All I can say is I feel good about the Orange tribe. I don't feel good about the Green tribe. I think the Green tribe won't be great, although the Purple tribe isn't giving me good hope either. But these colors are a rehash of Survivor 44. Ratu was orange, Soka was green, and Tika was purple. And that's what we got going on again. I would love for Survivor to mix it up, pick a different color, but they don't do that. So that's my thought anyway. Let me know down below in the comment section what you think of this cast. Do you like the potential you're seeing? Different characters, different representation? Because I think this is the first person who's from India that's going to be on the show, which is really interesting. And also Guyana, another interesting piece there. I think this is it's shaping up. There's characters here, which is good, where everyone doesn't seem like total game bots, and I like that because I think sometimes in some way Survivors lost their way in the casting a little bit in that way. But so I don't know. A lot of Survivor fans can't really handle different personalities anyway. So we'll see how it shapes up. Either way, I'm gonna like it, and then hopefully we'll have castaways on to talk about the episodes with all of you. I know a few who would be happy to jump on and talk about this game. So let me know down below in the comment section what you'd be looking forward to, and we'll talk more. Otherwise, hope you have an amazing day, everyone. You take care, and you have a wonderful night.